Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tech Talk. Welcome to another Wednesday, the 1st of September. Wow. Um, my name is Chris Sev. I'm a developer advocate here at DigitalOcean. And with me, we have Moises. And Moises, do you want to do an intro?
Sure. My name is Moises Eskinazi, and I'm a product manager on a platform for DigitalOcean.
Perfect. Yeah. So today we're talking all about App Platform, all the great features. So let's get the energy up in here. It's a little early for me personally. So welcome, everybody. If you're in chat, just say hey, say where you're coming in from. I am personally coming in from Las Vegas, Nevada. Moises, what about you?
I'm calling from Miami, Florida.
Right on. Cool. What's up in the chat? Hey, Lovekesh in the chat. Good to see you. I'll be back on Cloud Chats this week, so we can hang out there as well. But yeah, so today is all about App Platform. If you are using App Platform, this is the Tech Talk to be in. And let us know in the comments if you are using App Platform, what you're doing on it, what you're building on it. What's up, Ann from Flagstaff? Welcome. Let's see, everybody else in chat. So I'll leave the chat up and everybody keep saying, hey, this gives us the energy to keep going. Love it. So Moises, can you give us an outline of what big features we're going to talk about in today's talk?
Sure. So first, we're going to talk about trusted sources for database, which briefly, it allows you to restrict which connections you make to your database. And it'll, in this case, whitelist App Platform so that you can connect App Platform and only App Platform to your database, or anything you allow as well as App Platform. Then we'll talk about our integration with Mongo databases, which launched earlier this year, and how to configure alerts for deployment and for monitoring. Then we'll briefly talk about integration with StackBit, and we'll chat about Monorepos as well, Monorepo support on App Platform.
Perfect. A lot of good updates. I was super excited about the Mongo launch, and then really cool to see alerts and monitoring. I know a lot of people have been asking about that, right?
Yeah. Yes, lots of requests, and we are here listening to what users are asking us and making sure that we are taking our users' voice into consideration.
Solid. Perfect. All right, so let's get us started. What's up in chat? What's up, Andy Sapper? Hello. Anna has a program, not an app. Ooh, interesting. Ulrich from Denmark. Hello, welcome all the way over there. Welcome, welcome. All right, so let's get us started. We are going to start with trusted sources, which is a highly requested thing, if I'm remembering correctly.
Top requested feature, yes.
Top requested feature, awesome. Okay, so here I am in my App Platform dashboard, in my DigitalOcean dashboard in the apps section. So if I wanted to do trusted sources, so this is linking a database and saying only an App Platform app can connect to it. There's two different ways to do that. Am I right?
That's correct. You can do it through the database, and you can also do it through the app.
Perfect. Okay.
So how about, should we
start with? Sorry, go for it.
Let's. How about starting by going to your database that you want to restrict first?
Okay.
So then, click on databases to list your databases. Which database are you using, Chris?
Let's go with this trusted sources are here one. And so everybody knows what database engines are supported for trusted sources right now.
Sure. So Postgres, MySQL, and Redis are currently supported for trusted sources, and we are working on supporting Mongo in the future.
Perfect. Okay. And then real quick in the chat, what's up, Sonala? Ali from Persia, Bottled Up Jam, what's up? Good to see you. And yeah, perfect. So, okay, so let's go for this trusted sources one. I love it. I love how active our chat is. All right, so if I configure a brand new database, this is probably the landing screen that people will see, right?
That's correct. So if you follow the tutorial, the steps will suggest that you restrict sources. So let's go to secure this database cluster.
Okay.
And here you can list every resource or IP address that you'd like to whitelist access to the database. So you can add a droplet, as you probably already know, and you can also select the apps that you want to allow access from.
Perfect. So if I have this sample Laravel API, this is my app platform app. I can switch this out for one of my other app platform apps. Let's say this sample raw smart Robin one.
That's right. And then you click allow these inbound sources only, and it will start restricting the changes, restricting access to the database from, so that only the listed sources are allowed.
Super cool. Okay, so is there anything else I need to do on this side of things? I just showed my password to the world.
Yes, don't show you the password to the world. That's one thing you should do. But no, that's it for now. Like, you can click continue and see what other steps you could do with databases. But for allowing the app to access the database, you're done. So now these database can only be accessed from this app, Smart Robin. You can add more sources, like including your computer, so you can connect from your local machine to that database if you need to do so. But that's it. Like, we're done.
Perfect. And I love that you can see right here, trusted sources. It's like the second thing you can see from the database's dashboard. Cool. So there are two ways to connect a database to an app platform app. This is option number one, right?
That's right. So the other option would be to go to the app directly. So let's go to an app that uses a database.
Okay, and I should just pick one of the other ones, right?
Right. Pick an app that is using a database.
This is one that we did for a recent tech talk.
Right. So if we go to settings and we click on the database that's linked to the component that's a database, that would be next auth. The database. Sorry, that's the Node.js application.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, okay, of course, the elephant.
Yeah, the elephant is your Postgres.
Okay, so this is
right. So now you have the configuration of the database as you see it from your app, since your app is linked to that database. So we can see that trusted sources is disabled for these. So if you click edit, you can add the app as a trusted source. And now once you click save, it will update your configuration and it will add that app as a trusted source for the database.
Super cool. I like that it's just a quick checkbox.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect. Showing passwords again. Don't worry. These are all demo apps and I delete them all after these talks. But okay, so that's the two ways to add database as a trusted source to app platform, which the #1 requested feature.
Yes, and one thing to say about this is, even though you're showing your password, you can only connect to the database from this app. So no one can use your credentials to connect to that app.
That's right. Very nice. Yeah. So another benefit to trusted sources is I can go on stream and do this.
Yeah, you could say that. You should still change your password.
Yes, don't do what I'm doing right now. Perfect. So, and then that'll go ahead and do the build. I'm seeing some nice information about build deployments here.
Yes. So one thing we've changed recently, probably we could add it to the list of new things, is you can cancel a current deployment. If you're still editing your application, you can cancel it so that it doesn't go through the whole process while you're still making changes.
Very nice. And I'm also seeing a little bit more kind of metadata about deployments. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yes.
Perfect. And I think this went live, what, like last week?
Yes, that's correct. I think Monday, actually, this week.
Oh, cool. 2 days ago. Perfect. All right. So moving on, that was the first feature that we wanted to talk about today was trusted sources. The second feature we want to talk about is one that's maybe been around a little bit longer than the others, and that's connecting MongoDB to App Platform.
Yes. So since the launch of MongoDB, we allow you to add a component database that's Mongo to your platform. So if you have an existing Mongo database.
I do have one. Do you want me to go to the databases dashboard or stay here?
No, let's stay here for now. Let's click Add Component. And let's choose a database. And previously created database. And now let's select the cluster. Which one's your Mongo? There, it's the green one.
This one down here, right? Gosh,
that's
I favor Postgres. Okay.
And then you click Attach Database.
All right. Real quick on this warning: a database user prefix with DO apps will be created to connect to this app. So when you connect a MongoDB database to App Platform, it has a specific user generated. You can't tell it which user to use, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm cool with that. All right. So we'll attach database. And Talpa with the question, why do I have usage at 0? This is my DigitalOcean testing account. So all of this stuff is just for these talks where I can just kind of playground, sandbox these things. Perfect. So we get more information about the build. You can cancel the build, which is a great feature to have. And now we have 2 databases on this app, which is cool.
That's right. So Chris, would you like to show us how to connect to that database from the app also?
Yes. So I didn't really have any code that I wanted to jump into, but the cool thing about this is that once you have this component, this database component added to our app, you can go over to the Node.js app, which is right here. And if we scroll down to environment variables right here, we get, let's see, just all these kinds of secrets just everywhere now. It added, does it automatically add the environment variables for the database?
Yeah, the environment variables for the database are added automatically.
Okay. And then I'm not sure if I deleted them, but so this would be if I wanted to add a new environment variable, you would just name it database Mongo user, right? And then to add it, you would reference this right here. Is that right?
Right.
So that would be, this is the name of that component. Let me grab it. So this whole thing right here, we could copy that, come over here and say .username. Just like that. And then if you needed some other stuff like database, so hard to hold shift, Mongo, let's say CA cert, then you would just copy this and do the CA cert. Cool. So that makes it easy enough to connect Mongo to App Platform, and then you just go into your code and you use whatever Mongo node connector you have, like the MongoDB connection package or Mongoose, whichever your preference. Awesome. Well, that is easy. What a quick section. I love it because that's all it needed to be, right? It's a simple, quick feature. And yeah, let's move on to the third feature that we want to talk about today, which is going to be alerts and monitoring. So if I let's go back to our app dashboard, just start from the beginning. And yeah, let's walk through where we can find alerts and monitoring.
Great. So let's say that you want to add alerts for an application. Let's choose one. one application you're going to deploy soon.
Sure. Let's go for this Smart Robin one.
Great. So we go to settings, and there are a few places where we can add alerts, but let's use the whole application view. So if you have multiple components, you can go into each component, but you can add all your alert policies from the app view.
So this button right here.
Correct. So now let's go to alert policies. It says 0 alert policies enabled. And if you click edit, then there are a few alerts you can add. Yes, the alerts you can add are for failed deployment, successful deployment, failed domain configuration, and successful domain configuration. So let's say that you want to be notified if a deployment fails or even succeeds. So let's go to failed deployment, and we click enable. And then how do you want to receive that notification, Chris?
I will email myself. There's already too many Slack messages.
Great. So Slack messages, we allow you to set multiple channels or just one channel, or like here where you're not selecting anything, no channels. So click on save. And
Solid.
From then on, anytime there's a deployment and it fails, you'll get an email notification. Similarly, you can add alerts for a successful deployment. So anytime someone pushes code, if you have automatic deployment on push, then you can get notifications. And if you add multiple domains and you want to know when it's finally succeeded adding it, then you can also subscribe to those notifications.
Cool. This is so easy. I'm just going through and doing them all. All right. And there we go. So while those are running through, we have a question from chat. Are there any charges for alert policies?
No, they are not. Not for these alert notifications that you see on the apps.
Perfect. And that's for...
Oops.
Interesting. Okay, so let's try those again. So that's doing a deploy. Let's go down to alert policies again. Oh, they are enabled. So it was just like a UI type thing, maybe.
Yeah, one of them failed. Or it's still going on.
Or it's still going on. Yeah. So let me try refreshing and see what happens. All right. So 3 alert policies, and it's deploying. Did it deploy already? So let me go check my email. All right, I'm going to force a deploy here.
I don't think you turned on successful deployment.
Oh, you're right. Okay, the one I wanted. Good call. Okay, so that's going. We have a question from Lovekesh in the chat. Is .profile files executable on an app platform?
I'm not sure. What you mean, like the profile for the bash, for the shell?
I wonder if you could run that on jobs, like a job component over here. Is that what you're kind of looking for, Lovekesh? Not entirely sure. So let's see. Here we are. So this is on the starter plan. It's $0 because it is a static site.
Static site.
Yes, perfect. So we have successful deployments. And then let's see if our deploy is live. Let me go check my email. And we have deployment went live. Let me go grab this image here. I'm trying not to show all of my email on screen. So here is the DigitalOcean successful deployment went live. Hey, here's your app. Here's the time it went live. Here are the build logs, the link to it if you want to check it out. And yeah, that's great to see.
I think
Perfect.
Lovecash's app, like maybe it's a good community question that we can post and have more people answer as well. How do?
Yes, I'm not. Yeah, so sorry, Lovecash. I'm not entirely sure. So I think the community would be a great place to post that. Only when profile executed. Yeah, I think that's a good move there, and then we can follow up from there. Cool. So that's alerts. If you have Slack messages on, it'll do a Slack message, which is really helpful if you have like a channel specifically dedicated to failed deployments. Probably a very unhappy channel, but let's move forward from alerts. And there's another feature that's very similar to alerts.
Yes, alert policies, which lets you get notifications when certain conditions apply. So let's go to create alert policy. So this app is only a static site, so you don't have those. You don't have a component where you can add this alert. I don't know if you want to choose a different app or
Sure.
just
Yeah.
showcase.
Let's go into apps. Let's go for that Next.js app. We had 2 databases in.
Right. So these alert policies are for dynamic applications, not for static sites, because they're based on CPU and memory that's run on the running process.
Perfect. Okay. So back down to alert policies.
Yes. Create alert policy. Great. And then the metrics you have for alert policies are CPU, memory, and number of restarts. Then you select if you want that to be above or below a threshold, what that threshold is, and for how long before you trigger an alert. So yes, set it, let's say, for 5 minutes.
Do you have any recommendations as far as configuring these?
It depends a lot on your application. If your application is happy with 80% memory utilization and you're not afraid that that's going to be a problem, then that's put your alert at 90%. But if you see that performance start to degrade after a certain point, or that you anticipate that you'll need more memory or more CPU for incoming requests, then you want to set your threshold to be lower.
Gotcha. Okay. So the classic, it all depends on your app.
It depends on your app.
Perfect.
So similar, you select delivery method and which components to apply. So if you have multiple dynamic components, you can apply the policy to a specific one or to all of them. In this case, there's one.
Perfect. And earlier you said that the alerts up here could be done per component, right?
No, so when you deploy the whole app. So it's these ones that can be applied per component. So if you go to the component, you'll have the same section of add alert policies, which lets you add CPU, memory, or restart count alerts for a specific component of your app. You can do it here too by just selecting the component you want.
Solid. Okay. So we have a CPU usage, and it'll just send out a really nice email, just like the successful deployment one, right?
That's right.
Solid. Okay. So those are, that's feature number 3 we wanted to talk about, which is alerts and alert policies. Really helpful there. So let me let's catch up on chat real quick.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Okay, so can we host a Dart app on App Platform?
Not familiar with Dart. Is that Dart for static sites or?
No, I think it's. I haven't used Dart or looked at Dart in a while. Is that? Yeah, that's a Google thing. I think you can tell by our unfamiliarity with Dart that I'm not entirely sure.
Yes. One thing to say is if the language or framework doesn't have a build back in our system that automatically detects it, you can always provide a Docker file with the instructions to build and run the application.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about App Platform is if you can set it up with Docker, you're good to go. Cool. So let's see. Good morning, John Mons. Welcome, welcome. All right, so let's keep moving. Let's go into feature number 4, which is really cool because I think this makes building and deploying like apps, specifically websites, so quick. And that's the integration with StackBit, right? So StackBit, could you give us a little info on what StackBit is?
Yeah, so StackBit offers a visual UI interface to edit static sites, and it also provides you a somewhat of a content management system that can use your Git repo as the content management database, and it lets you edit it, and then with the integration, it allows you to deploy, once you finish your edits, deploy your app to a platform. If you deploy it to the starter tier, and 3 free sites on a platform that you can edit and manage with StackBit.
Okay, so let me get this started then. I am going to see if we can deploy a brand new app from StackBit. So here I have the StackBit starter where you just go and select the theme. And really cool because they already have a bunch of pre-built themes if you want just like a quick static site up in like 5 minutes. So let's go and pick one. I like this Exto one. Seems clean enough. So let's click that. And the cool thing about StackBit is you can configure all of this on the fly. So we have our theme picked. Static site generator, you can pick one of those. I'm particular to Next. We'll go with GitHub. I am connected and deploying to DO. So I haven't even written a line of code yet. And we're about to deploy a website. Cool. So we'll let that run, warming up, uploading content to CMS. And so when do you see people, like what kind of developers or workflows or use cases do you see for the StackBit integration with DO?
So if you have you want to have a blog, a portfolio, or almost any app that doesn't have dynamic that could be generated statically, you could generate it, either start it with StackBit or edit it with StackBit and host it to a platform. And the cool thing is that then your edits to the site, you can do them straight on the visual editor that StackBit offers. And let's say that maybe you're not building the site for yourself, maybe you're building it for a client or for some, like if you're a freelancer, you might want to give your client something that they can edit themselves. So then you can give them the interface to StackBit while you take care of the DigitalOcean account, where that's where it would be hosted in production.
Cool. So what we have here is we have a sample that we have deployed in recently, and that was that Smart Robin app. So let's go take a look at that and see what StackBit to DigitalOcean integration looks like.
Sure.
So here is the app that StackBit created. And let's go click on the live link.
And as you see, like StackBit is telling you that this is the live version of the site.
Perfect. So can I edit right here, edit in Git? So it goes directly to the GitHub repo. And then I can do edits in here. Or if I go to my StackBit dashboard, could I do edits here?
Yes, you click on open. And this loads the IDE to say something. it does let you edit the code directly if you want, but the nice things is that you can visually edit it as well.
Super cool. Okay, so we'll let this load. So many tools are like doing IDEs in browser now. It's kind of fun to see.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the code link here. Developing locally, loading StackBit Studio still. I wonder if like ad blockers are getting it.
No, I think it just takes 2 minutes to launch between.
Oh, inactivity.
Mhm.
Come on, Chris. I got to read these things. Cool. Okay. So while that's running, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in chat. We're still running through. Sprite XP in chat says, are only Slack and email supported for alerts currently?
That's right. For now, it's only email and Slack.
Solid.
And you can have multiple Slack channels, different workspaces, or same workspace.
Cool. Yeah, so now we have up and running is our StackBit integration. So we're clicking home here. We can edit the title over here. Where does this go? Hello?
That's the page title.
Oh, that's
so why don't you click on this is a big hero headline and on the visual editor, on the preview, click on this is a big
okay. I had to triple click. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And now you can edit directly there.
Super cool. Super cool. Okay, so now what if I wanted to get these changes over to deployed live?
So click on publish.
Easy enough. Okay, so we'll publish here. And that's going, so I should be able to see a deploy happening on the DO side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And StackBit, oh, that's the other one.
That's the one you just created. Why don't you?
Looks like this one's still like.
Why don't you reload the page on Smart Robin?
Oh, there it is.
There.
Cool. We had to wait for StackBit to send it over. All right, so that looks good there.
And once this is done, you should see the changes live.
Solid. I like that. It's too easy, maybe.
It is very easy.
I like it. So, and Moises, you wrote a tutorial about like the StackBit integration. Is that right?
That's right. You can find it on our tutorials.
Perfect. On DigitalOcean community tutorials. You can check that out. All right. So moving from that, those are 4 features. And our last on the docket is monorepos.
That's right. So if you use as one repo to store multiple applications, websites, dependencies, libraries, now you can tell DigitalOcean where to find the one you want to deploy.
Solid. And I know there's a lot of people that use monorepos. It just makes it convenient when you're editing and working with code. So here I have a sample monorepo where I have an API folder, a front-end folder, and a few other folders. But for this, let's just look at deploying the API and the front end, and then let's walk through that.
Great. So let's start by creating a new app.
Okay.
And you had GitHub, so let's choose GitHub.
All right.
Let's find the repository and the branch. Great. So click Next. It's trying to find your code, and it didn't find anything. So our default buildbacks did not find something that would work to build the app that you have. But you know that your app is API, right? So
yes. And so let's look at this repo. So real quick, why it probably didn't find anything because there's nothing in the root
correct.
folder, right?
Yes, if there was a package.json, it could guess that it's a Node.js app. If it had a config.ru, maybe it's some other project. So based on what is there, it tries to figure out what is the best way to build your application. And because it couldn't find it, then it says, sorry, couldn't find an app in your repo.
Okay, so the move here is to tell it what folder to try first?
Right. So you said either frontend or API. That's okay, frontend.
And I clicked Find Directory.
And now this is what it found on the frontend directory. So one thing is, if it's possible that you do have a package.json, but you still want to deploy something specifically inside a folder. So if you see this view, you can still change the source directory to tell it, hey, you guessed this because of the package.json, but I have something else.
Gotcha. Okay. I dig it. I like it. So let's click close there. It did recognize it is a static site. So that'll be, if you have a DO account, you get 3 free ones. No environment variables, no build command needed because it is a static site. And we're going to go straight from the / I guess the home page, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
All right. So we'll click next there. And
so
this will be
what's the name you want?
Monorepo. We'll just name it 2. And we'll click next.
Cool. So confirm that's what you want. And launch starter.
Okay. All right, little robots back there. Come on. There we go. All right, so we have this app. It'll deploy, and then it'll go ahead and deploy just that folder, which is right over here under this front end folder, which is just an index.html.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you said you want to deploy an API as well.
Yes.
So let's go to settings and add a component to your app. And
now, should I cancel this build while this is running, since I'm about to deploy another thing?
Well, this build is different from the other component because this is just getting the HTML files in that folder. And now you're going to grab another folder. So even if it deploys it, we're not going to build it again when you add the new component.
Gotcha. Okay. So since I want to add the API, I'm probably looking at a web service, right?
Always running and publicly accessible. So yes, web service.
All right.
And again, choose the GitHub repo. Sample Monorepo for the repo. And let's use the main branch. Oh, maybe you need to refresh it.
All right, so back from GitHub. And we'll choose our source, same repo. My internet's been having problems this morning. Maybe this is me. As soon as internet knows you're about to stream, it just like starts giving you trouble. All right, here we go. So back at it. We're going to go for sample monorepo. And also, I have this app, sample monorepo. There we go. Pulled the main branch. We'll click next there.
Again, it didn't find your app, so let's tell it which directory it lives in.
Okay, so this time we'll want the API. Click Find Directory here. All right, so we got Golang, source directory API. I don't need any build command. It already picked out a run command for us, which is nice. And then I'll probably want to change this, right?
Yes, if your route, it's more likely that it's /API, right? Is that what you use?
Yes, that sounds like a smart move.
And that's just the name internally.
All right, and we'll go with the basic plan here. All right, so we're launching that web service. It's going to get added to the same app, which has the front end already. So the front end will live at /, and that's it. And then this API will live at /API. And now we have a single application on a single domain with 2 separate components. That's a really cool setup.
Yeah. So you have your monorepo, you manage it together, and then you have all the components for your app and you manage them together.
Perfect. So when I push to that GitHub repo, pretty much everything will just get built. Let's see what that is. But yeah, so here is the original sample monorepo that I deployed. Here's our settings, and you have the API and the front end, just like we just built in what we just did in sample monorepo number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And cool. Monorepos on app platform. So I think that wraps up the big features we wanted to talk about today. We have 5 big ones. Yeah, so trusted sources. We have MongoDB connected to app platform, alerts and alert policies, monorepos, and the small one that we kind of threw in there that was added 2 days ago is, what are we calling that feature, Moises? Like the metadata for deployments.
The alerts?
No, when you deploy, it gives you.
Yes. So we are iterating over the deployment notifications. The current ones is showing a bit more information about the deployment, like the metadata, and we're also the cancel deployment. So we call them deployment progress indicators, but they're continuously improving. It's not just one launch. We'll keep working on it as well.
Perfect. All right, so that wraps up all of our new features for app platform. It's been a busy few months, year for the team, huh? Since we launched last, was it September, October?
We launched in October of last year.
Yes. So cool, very, very cool to see all the new features coming in, and that there's all this progress being made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very cool.
Let's see. All right, so we have let's call it like 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A. So we have Moises here. If you have any questions for Moises, if you have questions about app platform, throw them in the chat. I see one from Entalpa already. can you host two components on one plan? For example, an Nginx web server and a Node.js app server.
I need to unpack that question. So if you are, why do you need an Nginx web server and a Node.js? Is it because you have multiple websites? So do you mean in one plan to run in the same container? I'm not sure what the question means.
Yeah,
but
so I think the core of it is like, what is the Nginx server for, right? Because yeah, if you want a Node app, then you just add a component, you add a web server, and then it'll just npm run build and npm start, whatever you have for your run commands on your package.json.
And so the request will be managed by a platform into your application.
Yes. So it says, Antalpa says, what about two containers on one plan?
Yeah, you can run two containers. Each one can be they can both be on the same application, but each one is independent. So if you have one could be, if you're on the basic plan, you can have one, the Nginx, maybe it's only needs 512 megs of RAM, so you have it in a $5, and you have your Node.js on a 1 gig memory, so that one is $10. So your total app would be $15. You could also run multiple things using Docker on the same container if you needed to do so. The only thing is that you can't scale them independently if you're in the professional plan, and the other thing is that you can only listen on one external port, which is 80 or 443. So as long as you can work around those constraints, you can run multiple things in the same container.
Cool. Yeah, perfect. All right, Larry TBT says, are you working on an option for multi-data center deployment for high availability?
So that's something I'll write as a feature request. We are not currently working on that.
Perfect. Yeah, so anybody else in chat, any questions, comments? Did you enjoy today's Tech Talk? Do you enjoy these app platform updates, or actually any DO product update talks like this? Let us know. We'll definitely be doing more of these across our entire product line. Cool. So it looks like if there are no more questions, we're good to start wrapping up. Moises, any final words?
Thank you for joining us to see the new features of platform. I hope you use it, and obviously feedback is welcome. So post on ideas on our ideas portal, and if you have more questions that we couldn't get to answer today, or you didn't get to ask today, post them on the community Q&A, and someone either from DigitalOcean or from the community will also help you address that.
Perfect. Okay, so last question from Larry. Same question for Mongo. Any idea if they're working on multi-data center?
I'll have to ask the product manager for Mongo. But if something you really want, definitely let's post it on ideas and get some votes on it.
Solid. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so great talking with you, Moises. Thank you so much for the updates. And thank you, everybody in chat, for joining us today. Another solid Tech Talk in the books. And please join us for the next ones. We are posting them on DigitalOcean.com under the community Tech Talk section. And also, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you did like it. It helps us know that we should keep doing more of these. So perfect. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thanks so much for joining, and we will see you in the next one.